welcome to the Grind to the Light. So this is our first attempt running through the Pioneer traditional event on Arena. For those of you unaware, it's a 5-match challenge where you basically play 5 other people in traditional best of 3. I think it's 750 gems, so just under like £4 to enter. I have some gems saved up I'm going to run here. This is a list we're running. It is literally a 1-for-1 of the current list we are running in the Pioneer ranked, and spoiler alert, it didn't run too well, if I'm honest. There were a lot of things that didn't run well. We went 1-4, but we'll run through the games as we go. But yeah, it was a little bit of a rough run, but definitely got some notes and some additions. How we're going to do this in the future is we'll be running into like a 2-minute thing in the next video, showing what changes we've made to the list and how we're going to try running it from there. But yeah, this is a first introduction. This is the list, deck list below. Let's get into the games. Alright, so we are here into the match now, and one thing I will say is these events definitely take longer to connect than the average ranked game, so there's definitely less people playing them, but as I said, it's a good start. So our first match here is with Jokeman, and we are up against the traditional Rakdos Demons list. And literally, like, I'm looking at this thinking to myself, Jesus swear word, what is going on here? We had to Malta 6 and we're still struggling with lands, so definitely lands are something to look at here. It's very interesting. Like, it does make you wonder if the shuffler in ranked tries to prioritize you having a better experience. Biotech gets 40s, Unholy Annex, so 100% demons here. They are going to get 1 card out of it, but I am going to Maelstrom Pulse it. We can't let them get card advantage. There's a Shieldred, which is unfortunate. We do draw a land here, so we'll play down another Biotech. I choose the Biotech because we can at least pop a lander token to buy time, which we'll do now. Gives us another land, which makes our Niv hits slightly fractionally better. So with that land in there, we'll pass, draw a card. Right, so we've got to go for the Niv. Oh, I do not have. I actually go for Valky here, and I choose Valky because we can take their Shieldred, which I think is a better play here. They definitely have a handful of removal, so obviously taking their big hit and force them to use it would be better. We do eat the thing. A Bloodlet of Aclazot definitely scares me because that means they are definitely running the slasher combo. For those who don't know, it's basically if they can hit you with a creature which does half your life total in damage, you will die. So coming in with the Bloodletter, I'm going to block here because I can set up a nice little sequence where I can use the Colligan's command to get back the Wandering Mind. I did want the Valky, however I realized that the Torch to Tower exiled it. Now we hit our Bring to Light here so we can shock in a land. We're on 12, so let's Bring to Light here. And now we will grab the Niv and go for the reload. Go for the Throat, takes out Niv immediately as was expected, but we get a full spread of cards. And we still have their Shieldred here. So with that in mind, let's get their Shieldred on the battlefield. I think forcing them to use removal on their creature would be more poetic. Also, Shieldred is something they have to kill. Like, a Wandering Mind in a Night of Autumn doesn't have the same urgency as taking out a Shieldred. Pop the lander token while we can, holding up mana, get more stuff on the battlefield. Let's deploy another Biotech here. Let's get a Wandering Mind on the field. Get a Assassin's Trophy, hit him down for 2. They have an Edict, so for the sake of saving damage, let's sack the Wandering Mind that isn't attacking. There's a Blade of the Oni. We can respond with a Tyrant Scorn. I said we're just keeping them down on board presence and putting pressure on with our attacks here. There's another Bring to Light here. So with that Bring to Light, I actually look at my options and I decide Kavera the main Bitten is better here. I'm going to get rid of their Shieldred. I could have took the Bloodletter, which would have doubled damage here, but I think having a Shieldred and forcing them to try and get action from there, because they're dead, they can see that we have removal for the token and can take them out. Now, being Rakdos, I don't think our sideboard is set for Rakdos. Our main board is, so we're going to run it back with that. that was a pretty solid running. We did get kind of screwed with mulliganing, and that will be a consistent theme throughout this deck. You will see me at one point in this recording check how many lands are in this deck, because I'm like, surely this can't be happening. So, can't cast anything in our hand, literally. Can't get any lands. Go down to 5. We are going to... So we're going to keep the Bring to Light on the premise that we are going to get Fortsies. There's no way out in a Rakdos deck we're not getting... But they go full aggro, which is interesting. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There's an Unstoppable Slasher, so I have to hold up this Vanishing Verse here. I would love to deploy the Ancient Cornucopia, but the odds of them dropping a Bloodletter and killing us in one shot aren't insubstantial, but I don't want them to happen. Right, Demon comes down, we'll play a land here. We didn't get a land, sorry, we played the Ancient Cornucopia. There's the Fortsies, which takes out the Bring to Light. There's the Fable. They activate the Mutavault to drain us. We still don't draw lands, so let's Wandering Mind here and hit, no joke, nothing but 2 Cornucopias. They go to their turn. They invoke Despair, and that's enough for me. Like, we aren't going to... We could try to struggle it back here, but they have an eventual drain. Yeah, this is me checking that I have lands in the deck. Because, you know, we mulliganed and didn't hit any lands. So I was like, screw this. I keep this hand purely because there's lands, and all 5 colors are in these lands. That's no joke. I didn't even care about the non-creature spells. We lose the Vanishing Verse, so let's play a land tapped. Right, get to 3, and I'm going to drop the Wandering Mind here. I will take... It's a big risk, but I'm taking the Bring to Light, because that will force them to want to Vanishing... Well, not Vanishing Verse, but they'll want to try and deal with it. So we'll attack with the Wandering Mind here. They go for the Throat Skivix. I still don't know how to say this properly. We draw our 3rd Bring to Light because this game hates us. Put a counter on the Wandering Mind, and we're going to use this to find our lands. Except there's no lands. 36 in the deck, ladies and gentlemen. And I know the conspiracy of, well, it's very clear when the arena wants another person to win the game. And yeah, you can't tell me that looking at this. I'm taking lands over my end game cards here because I'm just like, I need lands. I want lands. I want to play with lands. Right, I'm going to shock him and go in for another Wandering Mind hit. Skivrix's ability is actually saving us big time here. We'll take the Wandering Mind because now we have enough lands that we can just kind of go for stuff. I am concerned they could be going for a one-shot kill here. But with our hand totally full, our best bet here is to lead into Valky. He's harder to remove, and if we uptick him, really they only have to use hard removal. We take one of their annexes, which is interesting. I'm going to plus again with Valky. What is in their hand? Are they struggling, like... Are they having the reverse of us? Are they just finding 1 trillion lands? Now we're hitting our lands, and I'm just like, of course we're finding lands. Yeah, I'm looking at my hand here, and I'm like, we are set up for a Valky Ultimate, and I'm trying to consider what they could do. They could kill Valky, would that leave us in a bad shape? So I'm going to lay down this Annex to set up for later. We draw a land, discard a land, and I'm going to discard the Wandering Mind here, because I want the removal effects more than anything else. There's a Fortsies, so they take... Ironically, if they don't kill Valky here, it doesn't matter what they take. And they don't. So, passing the turn, I'm immediately just going to ultimate Valky here. And purely to just guarantee I can get to the win here, I'm going to Fortsies them. And I see an Extinction Event and 2 pushes. So they brought in way more creature removal. So I'm going to take out the Fortsies here. So I can now... Looking at my hand, I don't have a Helix, but what I can do is attack in, Wandering Mind, and then Bring to Light for a Helix, but we hit one off the top so I can take it there, and we managed to close out that game. Yeah, the shuffler was weird there, I'm going to say that. That made me very frustrated. Game 2 here versus Golgari Rock. Really, well, I didn't originally know it was Golgari Rock, and I will not lie to you, when I started playing, I was doing it in trepidationally, like, I want to play more competitive, so I'm like, yeah, sure, you know what, we'll take this fun list we play and see where it lands. But at the same time, it's similar to what's currently going on in Standard. The meta could very much affect my desire to play this, and if my experience is every game here, we're just going to get fortsies 9 times out of 10, then yeah, I'm going to get annoyed. Right, so we'll start with the Standard Triumph, and we need to kill that Scoos because we want to set up the Cavero, the Mind Bitten here, but they draw the second fortsies because, of course they do, but they take the Vanishing Verse, which is weird. So I'm going to pat this back, holding up a land cycle here, and they concede, which is weird. They didn't hit their third land, I guess, which was very weird. So, I mean, that speaks to the warping power of fortsies. If they literally kept a hand based on the strength of 2 fortsies and 1 threat, like, the rest of their hand must have been like, well, we're going to fortsies him twice, so I'm sure we'll draw something. Okay, this hand is atrocious, but I'm going to keep it because I'm sure I'll look at this and go, we're holding 6 lands, they're going to hold a handful of hand disruption, surely we'll be fine. So we play a tap land, there's a Scavenging Ooze, we'll play another tap land here, they hit us for 2, and of course there's a Glissa, so let's Wandering Mind here, see what we can find. 4 more lands in the top 6 cards of the deck. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused here. This was something that someone pointed out to me in terms of the way this event works. Because this event is similar to Magic League. One of the things Magic League does, basically, well, nothing's going to happen interesting in the rest of this game, so I'm just going to have this point here. So, what Magic League does is it matches you based on your performance. So, for example, right now we are 1-0, so we will fight another opponent who is 1-0. That's, yeah, there's another Invoke Despair. So, that's usually how these games work. If you played leagues in MTGA or Modern, it's similar to that in Friday Night Magic. By the time you get to the final match of the game, if you are, say, 4-0, you will face the other player who is 4-0. The other way this works is if you are losing, if you are 0-4, you will run into the other players who are 0-4. Apparently, from what I've read, this isn't the case on Arena. Arena will try to do this, but it's similar in draft formats and other stuff, but they will just prioritize getting you a match. So for example, if you go into it and are like, 2 minutes into the wait, yeah, we can't find someone who's 2-0 as well, so we'll just give you this guy, he's 0-4. Apparently it'll match you to random people up and down the chain, which is insane to me. And like, I honestly do think that that's an interesting point, but at the same time I'm like, really? I mean, call me crazy, I would rather have slower matchmaking and guarantee that I have an experience matched with people from the same thing. Now, this could all just be conjecture and craziness, like, I do not know if that's a thing. We see here that I misplay a land with this Vanishing Verse because I was getting frustrated. They go for the Duress here, of course, and take out, and I'm like, yep, of course, top 10 cards of their library. They haven't drawn any extra cards, but they find 3 of their big spells. I'll play this Yorion because I'm like, I've got to try and find something. They eat all the permanents they exiled. There's nothing to say here. We just don't draw anything. I will say you will not hear the reload button much in this league because, like I said, it was a rough start. We do find 1 Vanishing Verse, and we get to swing in with Yorion. You'll also notice that in these 2 matches, one of our 1 of 80 cards has come up 3 times, but the Bring to Lights are very scarce in this game. So we're racing here with a Restless Cottage, and I'm like, okay, as long as I can maybe draw something. We're winning the race right now, so as long as we can just draw something. But no, they find the Invoke Despair, which is the perfect thing, which is like their, you know, perfect card. And at this point, I'm like, because it's competitive, I have to hold off, because I could draw maybe one thing that'll buy me a chance here. I'm like, I'm surely can't just draw another pointless land here. There's a pointless land. Cycle the pointless land to draw another land. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Thank you, game. Game 3. And this was the point where I realized this deck is not suited for this. I realized at this point that ranked and events on this client are two completely different animals. And I don't know if it was a shuffler or something else crazy. Like, obviously, because I was playing these, I had very limited time here, so I was playing 5 games back to back, and probably should have walked away, took a break. This is Orzhov Monument, Orzhov Greasefang. So this is a less of an all-in combo deck and more of a grind deck, and it was really cool to actually see this in an event. So those who want to wear Fleeting Spirit, they can discard a card to exile it till the end of turn and return it. They drop a land and play Monument to Endurance. So now they are set up here. Those of you, like I said, who aren't aware, the big thing with this is essentially a Greasefang deck. So they want to set up the Parhelion Greasefang, but that's not the all-in combo. For example, if you stop that, they won't mulligan to nothing to get it. They can play a longer grindy game with a Monument of Endurance, like you see here, because essentially, like here, they're going to discard, draw a card, they play a land, the Microsynth Gardens. I put a stop here to respond to them playing the Greasefang. So they play a Greasefang, and I decide I'm immediately just going to Helix it. I could have let the Parhelion come back, but then I realized they have a discard synergy, so working on their lands is probably the best option here. And this is where my inexperience with the matchup really came down to it. I was about to force him to discard and blow up the artifact, but I'm like, I can't do that because... So I decide to, in response to him discarding the last card, I'm going to blow up the Monument and do 2 damage to the Fleeting Spirit. The way this works here is, if they want to save it, they have to discard their hand, which is scary now because that means they at least do have a card which is relevant. And unfortunately, it's the fact that they've drawn the second Greasefang. So yeah, we are dead to the current board state unless we can draw good here. We draw a land, it's not enough, and we concede. I probably could have played more around it, but the problem with the Monument is, and this is one of the great things with the new build of this deck, the Monument grinds way better to mid-late game. The more you leave the Monument on the field, they can just discard a card to cycle through, draw cards, make treasure. This is me taking out a lot of my one-offs here, and I'm taking out my one-offs because I'm tired of seeing them. Like, the amount of me drawing these one-offs in this league had kind of messed with me, and I probably should have stepped away for a break here, but I was pretty, like I said, tilted. One of the things I will say that this definitely struggled with is I've got to get back in the mindset of dropping one match and moving on. Like, one of the things there's the Fortsies, and I'm going to get rid of that because I'm holding up this Maelstrom Pulse to deal with, and they have the Go Blank. I get rid of the Maelstrom Pulse here because I'm like, Assassin's Trophy is probably going to be more relevant, and we draw another Bring to Light here. There's a Guardian of New Benelia and a Fleeting Spirit. So they can play an aggro plan here, and I'm like, okay, 100%, we got the Bring to Light here. Let's set up for a reload. I'm not sure of their removal package. We did see Sheltered by Ghost. Reload! We draw 3 cards, and the problem is, Knight of New Benalia is an indestructible creature when they want to discard a card, which they will do easily here. There's a Sheltered by Ghost to get rid of the Nerve. Fortunately, though, we do have the Assassin's Trophy to kill the Sheltered. They're going to enlist here, which will let them scry 2. And I still don't remember what enlist does. You tap the creature and it gets the power to it. Yep, so 6. So we're down to 24 here. We're going to shock in. I'm going to hold up interaction here. So gear 3, we draw one of our sideboard cards. Yeah, we bought in Graveyard Hate. They drop a Parhelion, which has me scared. There's a Monument. Okay, they move to attack. So in response to them enlisting, I'm going to Assassin's Trophy the aura, because they can make the Guardian of New Benelia indestructible here. So we get a second reload. We find the Vanishing Verse, which is good. I decide I'm going to Vanishing Verse the Guardian while it's indestructible. And this is where I kind of screw up. I didn't realize the Microsynth Garden was on the field. And this is my experience with the deck. So I was so obsessed with the idea, because they had a monument, they had Greasefang in the graveyard. I was like, I'm going to Helix now, because if you want to save this, you have to discard your card, which they do. They draw a card. Now they trigger making a treasure token. Here's the problem. They can now make a second monument. And I forgot that the Maelstrom Pulse was discarded. So I'm like, okay, this is 6 damage a turn with a discard. So they draw a card, make us lose 3. So this is where I screw up. I go for Bring to Light looking for the Maelstrom Pulse, forgetting the Maelstrom Pulse isn't in the deck because I lost it at the beginning of the game. So this loss was on me. And it was really cool to see Orzhov Monument here. I can't make him discard, so I'm like, I'll just return this and I'll just blow up your artifact. Except the problem is now, what's going to happen? The Fleeting Spirit comes back. They can discard a card to lose 3 life and then draw a card. We were dead multiple ways there. Game 4, and it was only a matter of time before we ran into the nemesis that was, well, Screaming Nemesis. And our 36 land deck again doesn't draw us, well, give us an opening land. I'm like, okay, I get it. I am 1 and 2 at this point. I mean, the odds of making your money back are nothing in these events. You will never make your money back. So you're just literally using it for the time here. I'm gonna Helix and immediately get rid of that. So I want to make sure that I can get the Supreme Verdict online. They tap for 2. Manifold Mouse. Okay. We still need black mana. We're not drawing black mana at all. So I'm going to play a Biotech here. It's a blocker making a lander token here. And ultimately, so this is where I have to double check, but Reckless, the Rockface Village pumps mice, but it only does it as a sorcery. So I'm 100% expecting the, as you say, the Monstrous Rage here. They're checking as well to see if it's sorcery. There's the Mutavault. So they're going to give double strike, move in. I'm going to block here because I'm 100% sure that there's a Monstrous Rage coming. There it is. So that's going to be 5 damage because this is a balanced and fair form. There's an NT. We draw another tap land, and it's me like literally being beyond frustrated with how many tap lands I'm drawing here. Again, I could have played the Black Source, and honestly should have probably played the Black Source. That would have probably been better here. But again, they NT and they don't discard, which makes me very concerned because that means they probably have something really good. On their second main phase, they double Manifold Mouse. So this plays great into our board wipe. So let's get the Black Source that we've been missing for ages here. I decide I'm going to play a tap land and Supreme Verdict to just wipe the field. Now, I just need... There's an Ember Heart and a Faces Carcassonne, so we are taking 4. And this is where things go rough for me. So, I decide the reload is more valuable. So I go for a reload, and this was a complete misplay on my part. Reload! I should have gone for the Molten Collapse on the Ember Heart. The problem was, though, that I was really hoping to draw a Helix. Like, here's the deal. I needed a Helix. The only way I would lose this game now with the Vanishing Verse is if they draw a land. And they drew the land, which pops the Man and Found Ruins, and we just die immediately to that. which was unfortunate. Maybe should have held up interaction, but the odds were, I was like 100% I like got to draw something relevant. And yeah, so this is a warning to anyone who's playing events like this, particularly if you're out of touch with them. Like, I've just been playing ranked games where I walk away if I get like annoyed, or commander games where literally I'll just pull out my phone and just, if I'm dead, or I'll just go look at the trade binders and mess around. The competitive league scene requires like a different mindset, and I've got to get back into it, to be fair, because I made so many misplays here. So yeah, this hand feels more relevant, and I want to set up for an immediate Tyrant Scorn on turn 2, which is very annoying because once again I've been given all of the relevant lands, and the tap land I could play on 1 to kind of cut off my tempo is not a coloured land I need, so I need to reassess the mana base definitely here. Let's get Skivrix the Augmenter on the field. So the only thing I'm worried about is a Screaming Nemesis that could potentially, you know, give them a way to stop us gaining life. Yeah, that's another thing. We haven't seen an Ancient Cornucopia in this game. So they drop the Nemesis down, and I'm 100% Tyrant Scorning that. So they're reading his ability, and basically it's a kind of anticipate that we can do over and over again. So first things first, I'm shocking in here, and I'm going to Tyrant Scorn this Screaming Nemesis and hit for 2, look for a card. I'm going to take another Vanishing Verse here. Like I said, Mice is a tribal deck. I know they want to say it's a mono red burn deck, but it's a tribal deck. We just keep the creatures off the field. There's an NT. End step, I will exile it. Like I said, I want to clear the way as much as possible to keep anticipating. Take the Helix. Play another tap line, so we've got all 5 colors. And we play the grind matchup now. By that is, they play something, we kill it. That's the way we're going to play this game. Second main phase, they play a Manifold Mouse. We will Helix the Manifold Mouse. We find an Ancient Cornucopia, which is great, so let's attack in, see if they want to trade this little Manifold Mouse. It's one of their big bombs here, so I doubt they will. And we hit perfect, so we can take the Fatal Push here, use the push on the token before they get anything out of it, and hold up a Vanishing Verse for their next threat. They play a land, activate the Den of the Bugbear, which is fantastic, so we'll just Vanishing Verse it, gain 2 life. Pass back to us, more lands, so just hit with the Skivrix. And then we hit the Bring to Light and Niv off the top. With a Cornucopia on the battlefield, I'm more in line to play the Niv here. Gain 5 life and reload. Right. And opponent concedes, so definitely been playing poor. That game pulled it back. But spoiler alert to anyone who read the video, we only go 4-1. 1-4. So we've had our 1 win for the video, which is very unfortunate. But honestly, so this is what the competitive scene looks like. Fortsies, 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 Fortsies. So after playing this, I've decided I am going to go back to a different build of Niv for a bit. I'm going to be using an older setup from the Tarkia one, and I'm going to probably go back to playing literally not mainboard, but sideboard Lane Line of Sanctities. This hand is... I ultimately can't keep this hand. Pass back to a 6, which is slightly better, has more action, but the problem is really needed to hit removal. We had 1 removal spell in the previous one, and they go for a Burst Lightning, which makes me think, oh, have they switched to a purely removal based strategy now? Are they going to go traditional burn to try to counter all our creature removal? They attack in, I will block. If you want to use the Monstrous Rage here, which they do, it will go up to 6, so we still take 3. There's an NT. We are flooding pretty rough here. And this is where I make an interesting choice. So, on their turn, they swing in, discarding a land that pumps their team up, They go up. We are at 7 here, and I'm like, I've got to go down to 5 to play Niv to do this. And I'm like, what's the best option? And I decide I can't run a Niv onto this board. If they have Monstrous Rage, even with the extra pump, they kill us. So I'm like, okay, I've got a Supreme Verdict here. Hope the Wandering Mind hits something. So we go up to 7, go down to 6. Goes to our opponent's turn. Another land to the Screaming Nemesis, puts us down to 3. So it's on the Wandering Mind to find a removal spell. And it finds, the only thing we can find is a Fatal Push. So I have to shock in down to 3. And I'm looking at the option here of how greedy do I go. I have to land a token and then push the Nemesis. So I have a blocker, I'm on 3 life. There's the Sunspire Lynx, which just kills us because we had to shock it. Good game, damn it. Alright, this is the last match of the video. We have Rakdos again, so of course we're going to be 4 seasons to Oblivion. But there's actually a point in this game where I have to really have a little rant to Wizards of the Coast. And you'll see what happens when it comes up, because I'll stop commentating on what happens on the game here. I set up for a Vanishing Verse because 100% new and Annex was coming down, so we need to get rid of that card advantage. Let's get these Cornucopias on the field. We are flooding, but Cornucopias are a very nice hit against aggro decks, because like I said, if they want to hit us for like 4 a turn, it's pretty good. Let's play another land, play another Cornucopia, gain a life up to 21. Let's see if we can bait any interaction here. They discard another land, so they too are flooding. They activate their Mutavault here and go for combat. I will 100% use this Tyrant Scorn to kill a Mutavault, because that will give us a life, 4 life up, -3 from the Blood Tithe. There's a second Blood Tithe. Well, we are hitting our land drops. Not much else but finding lands. Right, down to 16. Our opponent. I'm holding the potential to use this, so I'm not cycling the land on the turn, because if we hit a 5-mana spell, we can't cast it, and if our opponent draws a second Forties, which of course they do, and that's a foreshadowing here. Opponent's literally checking our hand. Yep, there's the Forties that we were expecting. There's the third Blood Tithe. So they're tapped out now. I'm going to cycle it. And we hit the Maelstrom Pulse, which is the perfect hit. So we'll Maelstrom Pulse and kill every Blood Tithe Harvester they've got. Play land tapped. We're going to play the Wandering Mind here. Well, we find an Unmoored Ego. I mean, it's a card. I'm going to swing in with Wandering Mind here. Now, I'm going to float mana from the Ancient Cornucopias, grab the Yorion for the first time this game, and cast the Yorion. Using that, I'll blink the Cornucopias and the Wandering Mind. That will buy us more time. Find us a Helix, which is okay, because it does... Well, it does speed up the clock. It makes it a 2-turn clock, if nothing else. There's a Ritual Chamber. I'm going to choose to kill the token here. On our turn, we can use the Molten Collapse to kill the demon. Swing in for 6. Puts him down to 6. Now, they activate that. Play for their turn. Right, discard another token. They need removal for the air. They find the Go for the Throat to take out Yorion, so that buys them some time. Passing back, we hit a land here, so we'll swing in. We're not going to deploy the Helix because we want them to play thinking they've got a couple of turns. So, yep, on our turn, we will attack them for 2. They don't do anything, kill it, and then we'll flash in this Helix to just end the game. We're playing to our out there. If they had drawn, if they knew they were dead on a turn, they would have played more aggressive, as in they would have looked for a way to kill the Wandering Mind. So that was kind of our situation there, as could we win from there? So pretty good performance versus Rakdos here. We kind of were getting screwed with mana basically in a few other games, but ultimately I have decided I'm going to try a different version of the deck. Yeah, look, 36 lands and we have to mulligan, and we mulligan again, but we don't find black. So This game I remember being highly frustrated. Bear in mind I'm pretty tilted because we've been like fort seized every game. We draw nothing but black cards. And that's not a joke. That's not like some joke of distribution here. Yep, we get literally fort seized to oblivion and we can't find a single black mana to cast any of these black cards. So we do get the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth now though from them, which will let us cast stuff. However, I am going to use this biotech here. There's the go for the throat. I'm trying to bait out their removal as much as possible. Right, we're down to 14. I'm going to Wandering Mind here. Skivrix is great, but I need to find something. So, there's a Helix, which would be okay in normal circumstances, but they drew their third interactive spell. And I'm like, okay. There's their second Fable. I'm like, okay. Yeah, this was a misplay. I was getting greedy and waiting for the flip of the Fable to hit with the Deafening Clarion and get life gain with the Skizerix. However, I forgot that Blade of the Oni is an equipment, so they literally reconfigure it onto the token, turning it into a 5/5 menace that I can't block. So I'm going to use the Lander token here to grab a card. So ultimately, greed undoes me in this matchup because, well, played definitely too close a thing. I'm going to Clarion here to gain life and attack. I've got to hope that Skivs can hit something off the top. Top two are Cornucopia and Land, so I'm going to play a Cornucopia and pass it back. Opponent attacks in with the Goblin Shaman, puts us down to 3. There's still plenty of draws where we'd be okay here. So I'm going to try and attack in, see if they want to block. They activate the Mutavault, so they are blocking here. And this was the most frustrating part of the game. I cycle a land to get a land, cycle a land, and find the free drop spell that would have saved me. The K command, destroying the Blade of the Oni, and 2 damage to their other creature would have saved me and bought me more time. But it was 1 card away. 1 card short, as they say. Okay, and the third match is where I'm going to have my rant. So, there's going to be a point in this match where my internet blips, and that's because, you know, bad weather in the area. So ultimately, you'll see I lose disconnection. And I lose disconnection because, and I checked it on my my app which tracks my internet, I lost my internet for 1.2 seconds. And do you want to know what that 1.2 seconds did? It means that you have to resync to your match. You're kicked from your game. You come back to your game. It takes time to get in. You lose time outs. And it means, apparently, that if you are in the middle of a phase where you're supposed to interact, for example, declaring blockers, you can't declare blockers because you disconnected during that phase, so the only option you have is to end the phase. Now, I'm going to say MTGO is a system held together by wishes, dreams, and duct tape, but at least it is held together. This is supposed to be a multi-million future of your platform client that you invested and put the friggin' Power 9 and Power Cube in, and you can't solve it so that we can get more efficient ways. For example, the timing system you are doing here is designed for ranked best of 1 play. We're playing a competitive match here. I would propose Wizards, my personal opinion, adopt MTGO's client option here. Give us 3 minutes to return to the client. See, lose connection here. Also, something I want to point out here, and something which I noticed from other points about it. Wizards, your client will also not have correct sync up. Like, why? Can't... You'll watch here, it's reset to the beginning of the phase, I've got to choose these 3. We'll desync again because it'll go, oh, you've lost connection. No, I didn't. I double, triple checked everything in the app. We had connection perfectly, and apparently everyone experiences this because your client can't resync properly, so you get kicked out of the match. Are you serious? This is a multi-million pound, perfectly built for, well, not perfectly built, built for online play, and I can't resync and choose a blocker here because your client decides, I can't sync, so you've got to do it. Like, here's the deal. That's not the point where we lost this game. We had a bad run anyway. But I will say, on the end of a 4-1 run, your last match being lost because Wizards' multi-million-dollar client can't sync up and you're just getting super frustrated is, yeah, it's enough to make you want to go, yeah, I'm done. So, congratulations, Wizard.